We're going to be talking about what you should be looking to digitize first in 2026, because you can go in many directions. There are a lot of records to digitize, how you want to prioritize them, but these are our recommendations for how you're going to prioritize this year. Okay, priority number one are the high risk records. So basically these are records that make you nervous. If they were lost or destroyed, there would be problems. You wouldn't be able to fulfill your organization's obligations. You wouldn't be able to get records to people that are making requests, or it would just cause some sort of business continuity issue. Basically any high risk records that you wouldn't be able to be without, you should be digitizing those first because they're critical to your operations. Examples would be records that are within retention guidelines. So let's say it's a type of file that you have to keep for 10 years and you're only 3 years into that timeline, you need to keep them. Those are high risk records. Or in other cases, it might be keep forever records. So not only are they high risk, but you have to keep them forever. So you should be getting those digitized first to make sure something happens to those hard copies, you have a digital backup. Priority number two are the high access records. And basically what that means is you're using them a lot. If you're constantly going back and forth to hard copies, going to filing cabinets to pull out paper files, or going to the storage unit to pull out microfilm, putting on those machines and using them and taking all that time using hard copies, and you're constantly doing that, you should be digitizing those to get that time back. So yes, those records, the paper files, the microfiche, the microfilm, whatever it is, it's part of your job to get those requests, to find those files, provide them to the people that need them and use that information, but it doesn't have to take as long as it does with the hard copies. When you have physical records, you're probably looking about 10x the time it takes compared to if you have them digital and you just click, 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 there's my file, I move on with my life, and I don't have to go refile records or worry about, oh, did they get put in the wrong place? Is there a fire happening? Or is there some possibly water damage if it's in a basement somewhere? You remove that risk and you gain back all that time for not having to deal with the hard copies. Priority number three are the records that are basically blocking space or costing you money. So that can just be, you have a bunch of files in cabinets. I just talked to a client recently actually that has 30 cabinets of files. They've never digitized these records. They're in paper copy, and there are 30 cabinets in their office. That is a lot of space being taken up by hard copies that they could just be digitized and remove all those hard copies, or put them at least in some sort of offsite long-term storage, remove those cabinets, because you can then use that space for some other job, some other operation, and that could be generating revenue if you're a for-profit company, or it could at least allow other people to work in that space rather than just big old chunks of metal keeping records that, again, should be digital. Another aspect is, even if it's just cleaning up your facility, that's a win. Again, having all these cabinets and storage drawers and closets with all these files, not only could it be an eyesore, is it taking up space, but also remembering where everything is. That's a lot more work than just having digital files, having them nicely organized, and accessing them from a digital system. Priority number four are records needed for modern systems and data migration. So it's 2026. You probably have a digital system of some sort with either go forward or current or semi-recent files where they're already digital, or you've scanned them in, they're in a digital format. But you also, if you have physical copies and backlogs, now you're accessing two different systems basically. You have your digital system and your analog system. So that should be the next priority, is integrating those so you only have one access point, basically one source of truth for your data. By taking that backlog, those analog files, converting them to a digital format and getting them into your existing system. If you don't do that and you're actually accessing both an analog, physical copies, and digital, you're switching between the two. You're constantly having to remember, okay, these files are from 1980 or prior, so that means I have to go to the hard copy. Let me go spend a bunch of time on that. That goes back to that high access record example where I said you're spending a lot more time, probably 5 to 10x, getting physical copies. So, okay, it's 1977 file. I need to go get that. Let me go to the hard copy, do all that. Oh, now I need a 1992 file. Now I'm in the digital system. You're constantly switching between those two, which is just inefficient, unproductive. So by digitizing your physical copies and bringing them to that one point, that one source of truth of your current digital system, it alleviates a lot of issues and just makes your organization more productive. And priority number five are the quick wins. Basically, doing something, even if it's small, even if it's not major aspect of your organization, getting this digital project going, doing something easy and getting a win can be better than waiting for the best plan and the best solution, because it builds momentum. If you can prove the value of a digital conversion project, even with a small start, that can be huge to get buy-in for the major project, and again, build that momentum towards a digital future of getting all the records digitized because you made that quick, easy win. There wasn't a lot of cost to it. It was timely, it didn't take a long time, but you could prove the value of digitizing quickly. So if you have a major project, let's say 5,000 rolls of microfilm that you want to get scanned, you really think that's the best move forward, but you're thinking, I'm not going to get $100,000+ of budget to scan these. Okay, find, let's say this high access records. Let's say there's a subset of about 100 microfilm rolls that you're just constantly accessing. Use those for maybe a $5,000 project. Get that going, prove the value of the digital conversion, and use that to justify the larger project. So find something you can do with a small budget that you can get done quickly and proves the value and proves that win. Okay, so those are the 5 priorities for how you should be digitizing in 2026. Another video you can take a look at are the hidden costs of not digitizing, which is posted here. So if you don't digitize, even though we're telling you you should, here are the hidden costs of doing that. You can take a look at that, and thank you for watching.